Welcome back to another video. I'm Mylan with Fit Functional In-Home Training, and for today's video I really wanted to focus on a beginner's routine, incorporating a group of exercises, 5 exercises to be specific, that are designed for individuals who really are just trying to implement a fitness routine, exercise routine into their life and haven't yet. These exercises are going to be slightly challenging, but enough where you can do them correctly and also see results. Now, the biggest thing we're going to focus on in today's video is how to properly do these exercises. Form is very crucial to effectively doing these different movements that we're going to perform today. Most importantly, I'm going to go over the duration, which you should be doing these exercises. I'm going to demonstrate, the way in which to do them so you can maximize the effectiveness of each exercise. Then at the end, we're going to go through these 5 exercises in a circuit that you guys can do at home or wherever you may be. So today's video is geared towards beginners, new to exercising, but hopefully these will help you incorporate a fitness routine, exercise routine into your life moving forward. It's very important when you're starting an exercise, implementing a routine, that you do warm up properly. You don't want to go into an exercise or a workout without warming up and getting those muscles loose. So one of my favorite movements to warm up is what I call a walkout. Everybody calls it a walkout. It's called a walkout. Now with this exercise, essentially it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a great upper body and lower body warm up because there's a lot of components and different muscles that you're engaging to do this movement. Now, with the walkout, you want to start with a nice base. We went over this exercise in a few of our other videos, but I'm going to spend a little extra time on it now. With the walkout, start with a good base. Okay, you want to stand nice and tall. What you want to do is you want to bend at the knees to start. Now, if you have any type of knee pain, knee injury, pre-existing ailment that is involved with the knees, then it's okay to use your hands to brace on your knees when you bend. Okay, now as we bend, you want to bend at the waist, bring your hands to the ground, keep your fingers spread and your hands flat. You do not want to put pressure on our joints here. Hands are flat. As you can see, my heels are still on the ground. Now, with this movement, I start to walk out, continuing to keep my heels flat, transitioning from my heels to my toes, keeping my hands flat and my fingers spread. Now, my finishing position is that extended plank. Okay, as you can see, I'm now fully extended on my toes, back is straight, and now you want to engage your core. Now from here, you want to essentially reverse that motion. So you want to start to walk those hands back, bend at those knees, transition from those toes to those heels, keeping those hands flat. You want to stand up nice and tall. Okay? Now, with these you're going to want to get about 8 to 10. 10 is the magic number. A good 10 will get you nice and loose and warmed up. So again, if you need to, brace at your knees, but you want to bend. Stretching out those hamstrings. Move your hands down. Engaging that core, transitioning from your heels to your toes into that plank. So you're getting your shoulders warmed up here, getting your core working, and getting those legs working. Okay? Again, you're going to walk back up and stand nice and tall. Now again, I would aim for getting 10 of those, 8 to 10. If you can't get 10, that's okay. But get a number that you're comfortable with where you're working a little bit, but you feel like you can do them successfully, okay? Now, that'll be our warm-up exercise to get nice and loose. Now to start our actual circuit, the first exercise we're gonna focus on, and I'm gonna really spend some extra time on this today, is the squat. One of the most common exercises you're gonna read about, a million different ways to do it, but the fundamentals of a squat are very important, okay? So today, I'm actually gonna use the bench, just because if you're a beginner, it helps you learn the basics of a squat. So, with our bench, I'm gonna bring it right over here. Now you can use a couch, you can use a chair. It doesn't have to be, a bench. It can be anything you can sit on, okay? Now, we're actually gonna start seated for our squat today. Now, one of the key elements with a squat is that we're using obviously the right muscles. We don't want to be leaning too far forward. We're going to be using our quads, our hamstrings, our glutes, all those leg muscles, those strong leg muscles. Okay? Now, keep your shoulders back, engage your core. Now, what does that mean? Engage your core. It means just always be ready. If I were to run up with some boxing gloves on, like in Rocky, give you some 1-2s, the core would be engaged and you'd be bracing for it. Okay? Just want to draw that belly button in and think about using your core. Okay, now our shoulders are back. We're not leaning forward here. Now, why aren't we leaning forward? Because if we do, it's going to tend to bring the rest of our body forward. We don't want to do that. Shoulders are back. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Okay? We have a nice, good base. What we're going to do now is we're going to step straight up, driving through our heels. Okay? So, as I come up, tucking in that belly button, hips are back, core is strong, shoulders are back. Now, we're not using any weight here besides our own body weight. So you can keep your hands in if it helps for a better center of gravity. So you want to step up, nice and tall, squeeze the glutes, hamstrings, quads are working. Again, when we sit down now, this is where the bench comes in. It's our safety net, okay? So hips are back, sit back down, right on the bench. Okay, that's one. Again, make sure your knees don't go too far over your toes. A little bit forward is fine, that trajectory is fine. What you don't want to do is this. You don't want to lean too far forward. And that's why keeping our shoulders back and our core engaged assists us in preventing that. Okay, so again, good base, core tight, stand up tall, right back down. Stand up tall. Our next exercise is going to be our tabletop plank. This is another one that we've demonstrated in a few of our other videos. It's a great lower body and core exercise. And how we're going to start with it is in our push-up position, like so. The difference here now, though, is that you're going to walk your feet in. Okay? So your legs, meaning your quads, and your calves are about 90 degrees, forming a 90-degree angle. Now I'm on my toes here, as you can see. I'm not, tilting inward or tilting outward. I'm keeping my toes nice and positioned, keeping my shoulders back, and I'm keeping my knees right above the ground. They're not touching the ground. I'm keeping them up. I'm engaging these quad muscles. My hands are flat, fingers are spread, just like in our walkout. And I'm engaging my core. Now for these, we're going to hold 30 seconds. That's going to be the magic number for today. Holding that plank. Now, if you feel like you have any knee pain or have a pre-existing knee injury, you can always just walk your feet back a little bit. This also works if you're getting fatigued before 30 seconds ends. Okay. Drop it down. So again, you really want to engage your core on those, maintain that integrity of the exercise by holding that position. Work those quads, work that core, even work a little bit of our shoulder muscles by holding. But remember, hands are flat. We're not putting any unwanted pressure on our finger joints, okay? Now, this next exercise is the dead bug. A great core exercise. Now, I also want you to know that if you get to a point in an exercise where you feel like you're ready to challenge yourself, or maybe it's too simple of an exercise, you can increase the speed a little bit. Now, you never want to compromise the integrity of the exercise, meaning the form, by going too quickly. But if you want to give yourself a bit of a challenge, you're feeling like you need a bit more of a challenge, it's okay to speed up and work a little harder as long as you keep that form and maintain that form. Okay? So, the dead bug, our lower back is flat. Our legs are at a 90-degree angle. Again, shins, quads, Now our arms are above us, straight up, pointing towards the ceiling. Now as you can see, my toes are pointing toward the ceiling as well. Now the key to this exercise is to keep that lower back flat. You don't want to arch. Keep that lower back flat, push through to the ground. Now, what I'm going to do is swing my right arm back. As I do that, my left leg is coming forward. Return back to that starting point. I alternate. Maintaining a flat back all the way through. Okay? Now, if you feel like your lower back is lifting off the ground and it's working more than it should, then you can always bend your leg a little bit. So for example, tap the heel, tap the heel, okay? As opposed to extending fully with your leg. So again, you'll be doing this normally, but if you need to modify, it's okay to tap that heel and bend that leg. Okay, now for these, we're going to go for 30 seconds as well, okay? When we get to our actual circuit. Now, for the final exercise in this group is going to be our traditional plank. It's an exercise you see everywhere. It is basic, but when done the right way, it's very effective. Now, with our traditional plank, we want to actually keep our hands flat on the ground, as opposed to clenching our fists or turning our hands in, which you see a lot of people do. By doing this, we can engage more of our shoulders, okay? So, feet are a little wide, hands are flat, and I'm making about a 90-degree angle between my bicep and my forearm. Now my back is nice and straight. I'm not going too low, I'm not going too high. I want to focus on just holding. Again, have that Rocky mentality, that your core is always engaged, and you'll be ready at any time if someone's trying to give you a few 1-2s. So squeeze, hold that core. Steady breathing is key as well. I do want to mention, don't hold your breath. A lot of people tend to hold their breaths on a plank or any type of exercise where you're holding it. Make sure you have a nice steady breath. Engage that core. We're going to go for 30 seconds as well on these. Okay? So, when we get to our circuit, that one's going to be for 30 seconds as well. And that's a good rule of thumb I like to use. When I'm doing a new exercise, I try to use 30 seconds as my gauge. Now, if 30 seconds is too much, it doesn't mean it's all or nothing. You can accommodate yourself. If you get to 20 seconds and you feel like, wow, that's enough, stop there. 10 seconds, that's fine, as long as you're maintaining the proper form. Now that I've demonstrated the 5 different exercises, hopefully you feel comfortable that we can now do those in our circuit. You guys can follow along. So, to recap, we have our walkouts that we're going to do for 10. Our squats, 10 to 15 reps, depending on how you're feeling. I'll do 15. Tabletop plank, holding for 30 seconds. Our dead bug for 30 seconds. And our plank for 30 seconds. So again, even though those are our goals in the reps and times that we set, work at your own pace. You don't want to overdo it, especially since we're all beginners here. It's important that you work at your own pace and modify, to accommodate yourself if needed. Okay? So follow along, pause, rewind, stop as you need. As long as your form is right, there's no wrong way to do this circuit. So we're gonna go through 4 rounds, okay, 5 exercises, and rest as you need. Okay, don't be so concerned about my rest or my pace. Just focus on my form, but work at a pace that's comfortable for you. Okay, let's begin with our walkouts. Good job, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope this circuit helped you guys to start to incorporate some exercises into your daily or weekly routine, especially during these challenging times. We know how important it is to get moving, get exercising, and the beauty of all these exercises is you can do them anywhere, at home, outside, even at work when you have a break. So thank you for tuning in. Can't wait to see you guys next time. And again, if you ever have any questions, feel free to give us an email, shoot us an email at info@inhome.fitness, or visit our website at www.inhome.fitness. Until next time.